Hi, I'm Joss Williams, this is my DVD commentary and I am T42 Productions. Question 1. In what way does your media product use, develop and challenge forms and conventions of real media products? I decided to use only one actor, so it truly signifies how alone certain people can be when they suffer from mental health issues. For my location, I used an old empty house to help signify the isolation of the character. Genre is always hard to determine, especially in films like these. Some people suggest it's biographical, biological, psychological, or thriller, or even drama. I have based most of my research on drama with a thriller tinge to it because it's kind of menacing at the end, so I agree with that part. Question 2. How effective is the combination of your main product and your ancillary texts? So I got the actor to record another script that I had written for it. By using my character profile, I worked out what the character would actually be thinking, and I used that in my radio trailers. Pictures I chose, one was from the film opening, and the other two were of the house that he's thinking about burning down, which was in the scene 2 and 10. I love the artistic nature of the magazine Little White Lies. Also, my magazine review is based on Little White Lies, which is a very, very popular film magazine. I chose this piece because it was very themic and I love the way it's written. It's easy to understand, it's really casual, laid back, but very critical at the same time. Here's a screenshot of my magazine review. Question 3. What have I learnt from my audience feedback? Knowing that my audience would mostly be students of the teenage age, I used a teenager in my own piece. This is because I did some research and I found out that people usually respond to people in films that are the same age as them.
I was gonna say, I really liked the music, like just how it was such a contrast to the whole fact that it's really relaxing that, and when you think of like what he had, you would think it's quite destructive in that, and just then when he decided to actually turn away and that he didn't want to go, then the fact that it just stopped there and then was really good. I really liked it.
I have to admit, there were times when it felt a bit like a kind of NHS advert, but I like the way you cut it out at the end with the breathing. It was really good. It worked really well.
And I think if you're going to do a film about pyromania, then you should maybe put a big fire.
I actually thought there was a threat there and a level of menace, and I also like the references you made to the other bits of fire, the Molotov cocktail. I thought that was really clever, and yeah, you're going to work on it, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I find it quite menacing actually by the end.
As you put what the contrast is between the very contained fire and then the potential of the thing at the end. We don't need to see a big fire, we can see how he's been lighting matches in a bathroom, and then you see that he could eventually set fire to a house. That worked really well. It was quite brave to do the whole thing visually without actually having dialogue, because 5 minutes you did it well, I think, visually.
She did an excellent job, and I got the story. I may have, not saying not have a fire, but I may have progressed from just having a match to a little bit of paper, and then it built its way up to the possibly burning the house down, but it certainly didn't need any language at all.
No. And the whole fact that he's potentially going to a psychiatrist and that people, if he refusing to go, he's not going to talk about it himself. So if there was a narrative, it would kind of ruin that suspense that he's keeping it all to himself.
Maybe if people think the links to Pyromaniac are kind of too small, maybe I don't know how much time you can find, but a shot of maybe a news report of a fire, maybe a forest fire.
Mostly, my audience feedback was negative, although there were a few nice women at the front who liked my piece. I've taken into account both positive and negative feedbacks from the presentation evening, and I have worked on them in my own film. Question 4. How do you use media techniques in the construction, research and planning and evaluation stages? Some of the programmes I found really useful were Final Cut Express, YouTube, short film websites and SoundCloud. Type was also really helpful when creating my titles. For construction, I found that the DVX100 was very useful, helped me to adjust colour and zoom in my shots manually. Star Now proved really difficult to find somebody perfect for the part, so I ended up not using that and finding an actor my own way. A lot of my research suggests many different symptoms and factors influencing mental health patients, and I try to include them in my piece. I wish that I had more time to film, so I could have included more of the scenes that I had storyboarded. I made this piece because I didn't want it to be your average A2 media student piece. I did it on my own because that's how I thought I would work best. Now, looking back, I wish I had a group to work with, as I have found it really difficult to do all the research and planning, all the filming and editing, and taking all the negative feedback all on my own.